Imagine looking up at the sky and witnessing the descent of death itself upon your city. A presence so immense, so terrifyingly powerful, that even the bravest hearts would tremble. You know with chilling certainty that nothing in this world can stand against it. This isn't just a tale of kings and armies. It's a story etched in the annals of heaven, a testament to angels' judgment and the boundless power of mercy. It is the story of the day one archangel stood as the sole guardian between life and oblivion. Picture a city teetering on the brink, a king burdened by guilt, and a force capable of erasing existence in an instant. Yet from the celestial realm, a defender arises, defying the seemingly impossible. This is the account of how Michael fought to shield David from a destroying angel, a story resonating with timeless relevance. Now allow your imagination to paint the scene. The heavens darken, the wind falls silent, and the city below remains blissfully unaware of the impending terror. Amidst this ominous calm, a single man trembles, his heart pounding, oblivious to the fact that the fate of thousands rests precariously upon his shoulders. David, the anointed king of Israel, had walked closely with God throughout his tumultuous life. He had conquered giants, outwitted formidable enemies, and led his nation to unprecedented glory. However, even the most devout are susceptible to human fallibility. In a moment clouded by pride and a sense of insecurity, David commanded a census of the people, a meticulous counting of men and soldiers, as if the strength of numbers could somehow surpass divine protection. To mortal eyes, it may have seemed a harmless, even pragmatic act. But in the boundless expanse of the spiritual realm, nothing escapes divine notice. Every decision, every thought reverberates in ways that mortals cannot comprehend. Heaven paused. The angelic host turned their gazes toward the throne of judgment. The delicate balance between mercy and wrath swayed precariously. As the census neared completion, an oppressive weight descended upon the land. The sun's light dimmed unnaturally, casting elongated, unsettling shadows. A heavy stillness enveloped every village, every city, every rolling hill. Birds plummeted from the sky, their songs silenced mid-flight, and animals huddled instinctively, sensing a force beyond their grasp. People walked on, oblivious to the peril looming above their hearts, unprepared for the cataclysm that had already begun its approach. Then it arrived, sudden, terrifying, and seemingly unstoppable. The angel of destruction materialized above the northern hills, descending like a tempest of living fire. His wings, colossal and awe-inspiring, sliced through the sky with an almost tangible force. They radiated an intense heat, scorching the clouds, yet possessed an edge as sharp as any blade. His eyes burned with an otherworldly intensity, and in his grasp gleamed a sword capable of piercing nations, annihilating cities, and silencing life itself. The earth quivered beneath his descent. Winds shrieked through valleys and streets. Even the mountains seemed to recoil as if sensing a cosmic force being unleashed. The plague had already claimed tens of thousands of lives, and now the ultimate strike was poised to fall. David, still unaware of the celestial storm raging above, continued his daily duties. Yet a creeping sense of unease gnawed at his chest. His servants whispered warnings, animals hissed and fled, and a strange quiet had overtaken the land. A pause filled with dread heavier than 1,000 swords. Then, piercing through the encroaching darkness, a light shone brighter than the noonday sun, a presence regal, unyielding, and magnificent. Michael, Archangel, the great Prince of Israel, the defender of faith. His armor gleamed as though forged from pure sunlight, and his wings stretched beyond the limits of sight, shimmering with every color of celestial fire. Every movement radiated authority, unwavering resolve, and an unshakable purpose. The destroying angel's gaze fell upon him, and for a fleeting moment, even the fires in his eyes seemed to flicker with uncertainty. Michael's presence was more than mere power. It was a tangible embodiment of conviction. It was mercy poised to fight obedience, prepared to resist, and hope standing defiant against annihilation. Yet the question hung heavy in the air: could one angel, no matter how mighty, stop another when the instrument of death had already begun its devastating sweep across the land? Could courage and mercy truly counter a force crafted to destroy without hesitation? David would soon witness the answer. The fate of Israel teetered on the precipice of divine judgment, and the heavens themselves waited with bated breath. Every heartbeat in Jerusalem was about to align with a cosmic battle, unfolding unseen, a battle that would test the very limits of obedience, faith, and the boundless mercy of God. The city of Jerusalem slept under an uneasy sky, oblivious to the gathering storm. Streets that had once bustled with life now stood eerily still. Every door, every window, every flicker of candlelight held souls unaware of the invisible terror hovering above their heads. Then the moment arrived. The angel of destruction hovered directly over the city. His sword radiant with unearthly fire, charged with the full weight of divine wrath. Each breath he took seemed to scorch the air. Each flap of his wings sent waves of heat and tension cascading down to the streets below. The ground trembled under the sheer magnitude of his presence. Even the stones of the city seemed to shiver. Below, David finally sensed the impending danger. His knees buckled as he realized that the fate of his people hung by a thread thinner than a spider's silk. He fell to the floor of the palace, eyes wide with terror, his heart hammering against his ribs. He whispered fervent prayers, "Lord, spare them. Spare Israel. Do not let your people perish for my mistake." But hope had not abandoned the city. From the heavens above, a golden light split the darkness. Michael appeared in a blaze of glory that dwarfed even the sun. His massive wings stretched wide, brushing the edges of the clouds. His armor radiated brilliance, inscribed with patterns that pulsed with divine energy. He did not hesitate. He did not speak. Every movement emanated unwavering authority, indomitable courage, and an unshakable determination. The destroying angel's gaze locked upon him. A moment of stillness hung in the air, thick enough to choke the lungs. Then, without warning, the angel's sword descended, pointing directly at Jerusalem, ready to execute destruction with terrifying precision. Michael's eyes burned with righteous fire as he surged forward. His wings sliced through the air with a sound like crashing thunder, creating gusts that tore through the city below. The two angels faced each other, one wielding pure fiery judgment, the other embodying mercy, protection, and righteous fury. The battle began. Every clash of their swords sent shockwaves across the heavens. Lightning danced along the edges of their blades, and thunder rolled through the skies as if heaven itself was aware of the stakes. Even the stars seemed to flicker in awe, trembling under the magnitude of power on display. David watched from below, paralyzed with fear and awe. He could feel the vibrations of the celestial duel in his very bones. Every swing of a sword, every flash of light threatened to tear the city asunder. The plague had already claimed tens of thousands. Now, the ultimate confrontation, had begun a battle that would determine whether Jerusalem itself would survive. And in the midst of chaos, a thought pierced David's mind. Could mercy truly stand against wrath? Could one angel alone protect a city from total annihilation? The angel's swords met again with a deafening clang. Sparks exploded in every direction, lighting up the darkness like 1,000 suns. The destroying angel hissed with fury, striking with every ounce of his power. Each swing was meant to crush, to end, to erase. Michael blocked, parried, and countered, not just with brute strength, but with absolute precision and divine purpose. His movements were fluid, calculated, and unstoppable. Every beat, every strike carried the weight of protection, the force of obedience, and the hope of a people who could not yet see what shielded them. Yet the city below trembled with every clash. Windows rattled and fires flickered dangerously. The people slept unaware of the invisible war raging above, a war that would either claim them or save them. Then came the moment that held all hearts in suspended terror. The destroying angel raised his sword higher than ever before, preparing a strike that could annihilate everything in its path. The sky itself seemed to scream. Time slowed. Every breath, every heartbeat, every second stretched into an eternity. Could Michael withstand such force? Could a single archangel truly stop the embodiment of death itself? The answer would soon come, but not without a profound test of courage, will, and divine obedience. Above Jerusalem, the sky had become a battlefield, a canvas of fire and light colliding in a dazzling, terrifying spectacle. The angel of destruction moved with relentless precision. Each strike of his sword carried the weight of judgment, each swing threatening to erase cities' lives and hope. But Michael was ready, not with arrogance or bravado, but with the quiet courage of one who knows he stands for something far greater than himself. His sword, blazing with celestial brilliance, met every blow, every strike, every flash of annihilation. Sparks shot across the heavens, lighting the clouds like stars exploding in slow motion. The sound of clashing blades echoed through the skies, a symphony of power that shook the earth below. David watched from the palace, his knees pressed into the cold stone floor, his heart hammering in his chest. Sweat streamed down his face as he whispered desperate prayers. Lord, give him strength. Spare us. Save your people. The battle was not only physical, it was spiritual, emotional, almost unbearable to witness. Every motion of Michael's wings, every movement of his glowing sword seemed to push back not just fire but despair itself. The destroying angel was relentless, his fury almost palpable. Each swing of the blade was a manifestation of wrath that could end all life in a heartbeat. And yet Michael advanced not because he could defeat death by his own power, but because he carried something far stronger: unwavering faith, unwavering obedience, and boundless mercy. The sky cracked with thunder as the two angels collided midair, their swords creating shock waves that cascaded down to Jerusalem. Windows rattled, fires danced wildly, and the earth itself seemed to shiver beneath the celestial force. The people below remained unaware of the monumental struggle raging above their homes, their lives hanging by a thread woven from divine hands. David's fear threatened to overwhelm him. He imagined the city in ruins, the cries of the innocent echoing in his mind. His chest tightened as he realized that the plague had already claimed tens of thousands, and that only the intervention of one angel now separated the survivors from complete annihilation. Michael struck again, his blade moving with grace and authority. The destroying angel countered with ferocity, each clash resonating like a drumbeat of fate. Sparks turned into blinding flashes and fire became a living entity, dancing around them like a storm given form. The heavens themselves seemed to hold their breath. Then in a moment, suspended in eternity, the destroying angel struck with a downward swing, meant to obliterate everything in his path. Time slowed. David's heart stopped. The city below seemed frozen in anticipation of the inevitable. And yet Michael met the blow. The force of the strike was staggering, pushing him back slightly, but he did not falter. Every fiber of his being radiated determination. Every movement carried the weight of thousands of prayers, the cries of a nation, and the collective hope of humanity itself. For a brief moment, David could see it, the raw fury in the destroyer's eyes clashing against the unwavering resolve in Michael's death, confronting mercy judgment, facing protection. Then the profound question hit David like a lightning bolt. Can mercy truly overcome wrath? Can one angel stand against the instrument of divine punishment? The answer, though unseen, was being written in that very celestial clash. Sparks flew, wind roared, and the sky became a canvas for a war that no human eye could ever fully comprehend. Yet through it all, Michael did not relent. His wings blazed, shielding the city below. Every beat of his heart, every motion of his sword was a testament to unwavering courage. And though the destroying angel pressed harder, a subtle hesitation began to flicker in his movements, as if even wrath itself could sense the unyielding force of divine mercy. The heavens roared like a tempestuous storm. But at the heart of that fury stood one figure unwavering, Michael, Archangel, the great Prince of Israel. His wings glimmered with golden fire, his armor shone with celestial light, and his sword pulsed with a power that seemed to emanate directly from the very heart of God. The destroying angel, relentless and unyielding, raised his sword once more. Flames danced across its edge, hotter than the sun, threatening to sweep Jerusalem into oblivion. The city below shook, the streets rattled, and the air vibrated with the sheer force of celestial power. David, kneeling in the palace, could barely breathe. His eyes were wide with terror, and tears streamed down his cheeks. His mind raced with one impossible thought: this is it. The city is lost. God's wrath is unstoppable. And yet Michael did not falter. He surged forward, meeting the angel of destruction with a force that shook the very heavens. Their swords collided, sending sparks and waves of energy raining down like firestorms. Every clash was deafening. Every swing was a judgment against death itself. Then the moment hung suspended in eternity. A voice, the voice of God, pierced the chaos. It is enough. The words were soft, yet carried the full weight of eternity. The destroying angel froze mid-strike. His sword lowered. The flames that had threatened to consume the city sputtered and vanished. Silence followed, absolute and profound, settling over the land like a gentle shroud. Michael stood tall, his wings outstretched, shielding Jerusalem with a presence so immense that no human eye could fully comprehend it. Every stroke of his sword, every motion of his wings had been a promise. Life would not be taken. Hope would not be extinguished. David fell forward, overwhelmed with relief and awe. His chest heaved, his hands trembling as he whispered, "Lord, you spared us. By your mercy, you spared us." The angels surrounding the city, hidden from mortal sight, whispered in awe. Even in heaven, this moment was remembered. The day mercy faced judgment and courage held back annihilation. The destroying angel did not resist further. His wrath, fierce though it had been, now yielded to the higher command. The plague, the destruction, the terror, all ceased. Thousands of lives were saved in an instant, unseen by the people below, yet their fate was forever altered by the actions of one divine protector. And Michael, still standing vigilant above Jerusalem, did something even more remarkable. He did not celebrate, he did not boast. His gaze softened, filled with compassion for both the angel of destruction and the fragile, trembling humans below. For true courage is not loud, true protection is not selfish, and true heroism does not seek glory. It simply stands when nothing else can, when the weight of the world threatens to fall and says, "I will not let you perish." David would never forget that day. Jerusalem would never forget that day. And though the city remained unaware, the heavens had witnessed a battle that defined the meaning of mercy, obedience, and divine protection. Here is a question that will stay with you long after the story concludes. How close have we come in our own lives to forces we cannot see, battles we cannot fight, yet somehow mercy finds a way? The skies above Jerusalem cleared, but the echoes of what had just occurred lingered in the air. The storm of fire and fury had passed, leaving behind a city untouched by destruction, yet forever marked by the invisible battle fought above it. David, still on his knees, felt the weight of both profound relief and deep humility. He had come face to face with the fragility of life, the consequences of human pride, and the unimaginable power of God's mercy. A single misstep, one act of reliance on human strength, had almost brought ruin upon thousands. And yet, in that very moment, he understood a truth that transcended any victory he had ever known. Life is fragile, but mercy is eternal. Michael remained above, a silent guardian. He did not revel in the victory because his purpose was not personal glory. His triumph lay in the countless lives preserved and in the unwavering courage to stand defiant against forces far beyond mortal comprehension. The archangel's presence was a constant reminder that protection often comes unseen, that courage and obedience can hold the line when all seems irrevocably lost. As for the people of Jerusalem, they continued their lives unaware of how close they had come to complete annihilation. But an invisible lesson remained etched in their hearts. Unseen battles shape the world, and mercy can tip the scales of fate in ways we may never witness. What does this profound story mean for us today? How many times have we been unaware of the powerful forces, both divine and destructive, that subtly yet significantly influence our lives? How often do unseen acts of courage, whether performed by ordinary humans or celestial beings, alter the course of events we mistakenly assume are random or inevitable? Every heartbeat, every choice, every silent prayer matters. Sometimes protection manifests in ways we cannot readily perceive from beings we cannot touch, yet their impact on our lives is undeniably real. And sometimes the world waits for a single act of extraordinary courage to change the fate of thousands. David would never forget the day he witnessed the awe-inspiring triumph of mercy over wrath. The angels, too, remembered that day, that fierce clash, that display of unwavering courage, and the resolute stand of Michael. In the grand tapestry of the heavens, the story became a timeless testament, a reminder that no act of righteousness goes unnoticed, that every act of heartfelt obedience carries significant weight, and that mercy is always stronger than judgment, when wielded with courage, faith, and unwavering compassion. Now, the most important question remains for each of us. If you were standing under the shadow of utter annihilation, would you recognize mercy when it finally arrives? Would you place your unwavering trust in protection that you cannot see? And if courage stood before destruction, would you dare to follow its lead, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds? The city of Jerusalem lived not because of sheer numbers, powerful armies, or mere chance. Jerusalem lived because mercy intervened, where judgment had every right to finish its work. Not because David was flawless, nor because the people were innocent, but because repentance met compassion and heaven responded. The city did not hear the clash of swords above its walls, yet its future was rewritten in that unseen moment. What should have ended in ashes became a turning point etched quietly into eternity. David rose from the stone floor, a changed man. The weight of his crown felt heavier than ever, not with pride, but with responsibility. He understood now that leadership before God is not measured in numbers, strength, or control, but in humility. One choice, one moment of reliance on self instead of God, had nearly cost countless lives. And yet one cry of repentance had been enough to halt destruction itself. Michael remained vigilant, not as a conqueror, but as a guardian. His role was never to replace God's judgment, but to carry out God's mercy when commanded. That day became a reminder in heaven and on earth. Divine power does not delight in destruction, and judgment is never separated from compassion. Even when the sword is raised, mercy can still speak the final word. For us, this story reaches far beyond ancient Jerusalem. It whispers a truth we often forget. There are battles raging beyond our sight, decisions unfolding in realms we cannot perceive, and protection standing in place long before we realize we are in danger. How many moments in our lives were spared not by chance, but by mercy we never saw? Perhaps you felt it before: a narrow escape, a sudden change, of course a crisis that stopped just short of disaster. Maybe you didn't recognize it then. Maybe you still don't. But this story reminds us that unseen courage, unseen obedience, and unseen mercy shape our lives more than we know. If this story stirred your heart and opened your eyes to the hidden battles within Scripture, we invite you to walk deeper with us. Like this video to support exploring the Bible's unseen moments of mercy and judgment. Comment below, have you ever sensed protection you couldn't explain? Follow and subscribe to the Bible Mysteries for more powerful stories where heaven moves in ways the world never notices. Some victories are silent, some mercies are unseen, but none are accidental.